Hello and welcome to Global Outlook. I'm Mary Sitt. We're coming to you from our homes during this pandemic. A well-known and beloved Pilates teacher in Houston recently passed away from ovarian cancer. Ovarian cancer ranks 5th among cancer deaths in women, according to the American Cancer Society. Here to tell us more is Runsi Sen. She's the founder, president, and CEO of Ovarcome, a foundation that raises money for research, also raises global awareness, and provides financial support to women with ovarian cancer. Runsi, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
September is Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. Tell me, what kind of awareness do we need to have about ovarian cancer? What do we need to know?
That's a great question, Mary. So ovarian cancer, as you said, is the deadliest of all gynecologic cancers, but we need to be aware of the fact that ovarian cancer actually doesn't have any screening tests. So when we go for our well-woman exams, we do get tested, for our cervical cancer and then breast cancer as well, because I don't know how many of us do know the fact that pap smear does not detect ovarian cancer. And I don't know about you, but from my experiences, our doctors, when we go for our well-woman exams, don't really talk about ovarian cancer awareness. And so, but we also know that when and if this cancer is detected early, the overall 5-year survival rate is over 90%. So that is a very important metric that we need to understand and engage with, in the sense that if we are aware of the symptoms, then we know that we can report those symptoms to our physicians earlier. And if you do get detected and do get detected early, then your chances for a 5-year survival is so much higher. And talking about symptoms,
there's no test to detect ovarian cancer.
There
right?
is none.
There is none. And I read somewhere that 80% of women are actually diagnosed in advanced stages, where it's much more difficult to treat.
Yes, over 70 to 75% of women get diagnosed at advanced stages because the symptoms are so vague and non-specific that, we all have those symptoms at some points of the month. And so we just tend to ignore the symptoms. But what we are watching out for, and it's so important, is the persistence of the symptoms. So we came out with this, I don't know if you can see it, but we came out with this beach symptom postcard, which basically, we all love beach, but and this is a nice way to remember the beach symptom.
B-E-A-C-H, beach.
Correct.
Okay.
And so if so B stands for bloating, E stands for early satiety or feeling full too quickly, A stands for abdominal or pelvic pain or pressure. C stands for if you experience changes in your bowel and bladder habits that are not consistent with what you have experienced before. And then, of course, the fatigue, the heightened fatigue, that you're tired for no reason. If you experience all of these symptoms, or most of these symptoms on a persistent basis. And when I say persistent, I mean a few weeks. It's imperative that you talk to your doctor about it and get it checked, because as we talked about, there is no screening test. So it is in the absence of a test, awareness is our best bet.
So if you have these symptoms, they can do a test to say, and then detect it if you have it. At that point, the cancer.
Right. So there's a test which is called CA-125, which is considered gold standard for ovarian cancer testing. However, this is not a valid test for women who are asymptomatic. So this is not a test that we can do when we walk into our well-woman exams. But if you do exhibit symptoms, the ones that we talked about, then there are few other symptoms that you might experience. Then they will run that test on you to make sure, and with, of course, transvaginal ultrasounds as well, to make sure if something is going on, then they can take immediate action. So, yes.
Runsi, can ovarian cancer be prevented, or are there certain healthy lifestyle choices we can make to keep it from happening, as to lessen the chances?
Like any other cancers, it is the same lifestyle choices. Like obesity and reducing obesity and moderating alcohol usage and tobacco, all these factors, and just exercising daily for 20 to 30 minutes a day for 5 days a week. These are standard guidelines for any kind of cancer. But if you're asking if there is a specific way to prevent ovarian cancer, it's very important to know that only like 10 to 15% or maybe up to 20% of ovarian cancers are genetic, which means that 80 to 90% of women who get diagnosed are actually don't carry the genetic mutation. So it's just like people like you, who I have the genetic mutation. I'm my family history, but so any woman, every woman is at risk of ovarian cancer, yet there is no screening for this particular cancer. So it's so important to raise awareness on this disease, and that's what we do at Ovarcome in terms of raising.
Now, Runsi, part of your work with Ovarcome is to fund research, and you give major grants to researchers, to cancer researchers. Are they working on a test to detect ovarian cancer?
They are. And so, this has been a gold standard question for this particular space for the last several years. And so, lots and lots of research going on, and billions of dollars spent in this, trying to find a good screening test for ovarian cancer. Even though there have been many advancements in ovarian cancer in terms of treatments, it is really in the last 5 years, it has been dramatic. But when it comes to screening, we are still kind of trying to find that answer. And that's what we are very passionate about at Ovarcome. And when we are funding our young investigators that are, trying to find a breakthrough, we are hoping that, in our lifetime, at least, we can find a way to detect ovarian cancer early, that there is a screening mechanism, which is not there yet.
How far away are we from that test? Are we like 10 years, 20 years? I mean, is there a best guess?
Honestly, I don't know. I just know that the scientists are at it, and they are very much, passionate about finding, that screening, because we all need it, we all want it. But when that might be available, there are some things in the works. So, we should see some progress in the next 5 years, but whether the test will be immediately available after 5 years or not, I don't know the answer to that question.
Runsi, you have a personal reason why you're so passionate about Ovarcome, this foundation, and about wanting to eradicate this. Tell me about that story.
Yeah, so my mom, she passed away from ovarian cancer 11 years ago. And the reason I started this foundation is when I was going through this journey with my mom and she got diagnosed, first of all, as a family, we did not know anything about ovarian cancer. And so
And how old was she? She was pretty young too, right?
She was in her late 50s at that point in time. And so, although she had all the symptoms that I now know of, we did not know that this was ovarian cancer. So she actually had those symptoms for months, even years, before she finally got diagnosed. And so, and like you just said, she was diagnosed in stage 3C, which was already very advanced. And she had a short, intense battle of 11 months. And so while going through this journey with her as a family member, as her only child and her daughter, I realized that, first of all, we know so little about this cancer. There's so little resources available because cancer is expensive, and, there are treatment options that are available to people, but you have to be able to afford it. And there are other challenges like psychosocial challenges, emotional challenges, family challenges while you go through this whole journey. So while going through this journey, I just gathered and absorbed all that experience. And after my mom passed away, I reflected on it a little bit. And then I just had this strong, calling to give back to the ovarian cancer community. And so I left my corporate career and started this foundation.
We've been talking to Runsi Sen. She's the founder, president, and CEO of Ovarcome, which is a foundation that seeks to eradicate ovarian cancer. Runsi, when the pandemic hit, you had to pivot quickly and put all of your services programs online. Tell me how you did that.
That was very interesting for us because it took us a while to absorb what was going on, but we very quickly transitioned into a completely online platform since mid-March of this year. So we typically host several events throughout the year. So we have a luncheon for the survivors, we have our annual gala, then we have our annual conference in September, which is our Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. So we actually successfully transitioned all of the three major events that we have to an online platform. And so we have our September conference coming up shortly. So one thing that we have learned through this whole process is even though, there was a little bit of hesitation on our end, if you will, how would this all transpire? But we figured out very quickly that by taking all our programs online, we were now able to reach a much larger, not just national, but global audience, in terms of our educational outreach. So just to give you an example, our survivor luncheon that we did was attended by folks all the way from Australia, from South Africa, from India, from Jerusalem. I mean, it was just amazing to see that all these folks that we would otherwise not be able to, host in person, they were all able to join in and, learn and mingle and Ovarcome with us. So that was a fantastic opportunity for us as well, in terms of, because we pride ourselves in being global in our outreach, so that it became truly global. And so we kind of took our gala online. And so we saw the same thing, that, there was a lot more participation than what we see on a regular, year.
So did you do auctions online too? People would bid for different items?
Yes. Absolutely. We had auctions online. We had the whole program online. Everything was online. And I have nothing but, positive things to say about our donors. Also, they just, stayed with us, and our sponsors gave us their unwavering support. And so we were, able to successfully transition, because without their support, it wouldn't have been possible.
So you were able to meet your fundraising goal.
We were able to meet our fundraising goal. And then, yes, it was amazing to see the overwhelming support that poured in from, even for places which were new this year that we have not been able to reach earlier. So.
And I know on your website, I saw pictures of outreach, educational outreach to people in India, and then also women in Africa, right? Are you still doing those things remotely, or how is that working out?
Typically, we provide our assistance, like financial assistance to patients for chemotherapy support for India, for the hospitals that we collaborate with. All those are still ongoing, because, it doesn't need to have that touch and feel, if you will. So those programs are ongoing, and we typically do our awareness programs, like grassroots campaigns in September for Ovarian Month, and we are still continuing with those in Africa. In fact, you will see more of that coming out in the next few weeks. So yeah, I mean, all our programs are Overcare, patient assistance, psychosocial and financial assistance programs. That's on 100%. In fact, with many of our overcomers, not being able to work because of the pandemic and not being able to go in safely, they have lost jobs. And so our demand for our Overcare program has definitely increased over the last few months, and we are meeting all those applications, all those requests. We are, trying to turn around in jet speed to provide support to.
So it sounds like you're even busier than ever with this pandemic, because you have more of a need, right? And you haven't slowed down and skipped a beat. In fact, you've started 2 new programs. One of them is called Over Embrace, and involves a little 10-year-old girl who got involved. Tell me about that story.
Yes, so Kaylee, she's such a special girl. She got diagnosed with advanced ovarian cancer when she was just 9 years old. It was the same story where, the symptoms were vague. And of course, for a 9-year-old, no one's guessing that it's ovarian cancer until she got diagnosed. But she has been super amazing with with not just being a trooper through going through the treatment, but she has this amazing spirit to give back. So she came up with this chemo care program, where she's actually handpicking all the items that she wants to include in the chemo care bags that she is making. She and her mom Kelly, they are preparing for the other overcomers and survivors. So having gone through chemotherapy herself, she understands the needs when you go through chemotherapy. So she's putting all those little things inside the bag, and she has her handwritten note of inspiration that's going in these chemo care bags. So she approached us, her mom approached us, and asked us if we would kind of adopt this program and collaborate with them. And so first, Kaylee is such an inspiration to all of us, right? And what she wants to do is amazing. So we immediately picked up on her offer to work with us. And so we launched this very special Over Embrace program this month in September. And our chemo care bags are going out to our ovarian patients and survivors all over the country. Our latest bag actually went all the way out to Canada because somebody kind of wrote to us, and she requested a bag all the way from Ontario. So that's where it's going, the latest bag that we sent. So it's just an amazing program. It's an amazing way to support our women that are going through ovarian cancer.
And they're very thoughtful little gifts in there. They have everything from like ginger candy because your throat gets dry, things to hydrate, chapsticks, all that kind of thing, right? Things that she wanted when she was going.
Yes, a water bottle, because during chemotherapy, staying hydrated is very important. Then a journal to write down your thoughts, and we also have a mystery gift that we are sending in each of the bags. So it's filled with essentials and goodies that you would need for your chemotherapy treatment. And just because she has gone through this whole experience herself, she knows what needs to be in that bag, and she's extremely involved in the whole process.
So she actually puts the bag together and helps raise money for it.
She's actually sewed a couple of them herself. So she's very much involved in the process, and she just loves doing this for other cancer survivors.
You're never too young to help out. And you have another wonderful program called Conversation. Let's see, Connect Over Coffee, right? Over Coffee. Tell me about that.
This is a program that we quickly launched once we got hit with COVID, and we realized that many of our on-site programs would be halted in 2020 and beyond because of this pandemic. But we knew that ovarian cancer is not waiting. It is ongoing. It's not stopping for COVID, and so our awareness programs and efforts and initiatives cannot stop either. So we just quickly transitioned into this new program, which is called Connect Over Coffee, where we are bringing in experts who are, global experts in ovarian cancer space to talk about
quick little interviews with them, like YouTube interviews, right? 5 minutes, 6 minutes, that kind of thing.
No, these are 20, 25
minutes or longer, in depth. Okay.
Yeah, because we are going in depth on topics that are very important to our community, so that they can stay engaged with the latest developments, even though they're not able to be in person, but they are staying up to date with the progress that's being made and changes that have happened in the way doctors see patients now. We've talked about that as well.
So it's an easy way to get the latest updates on ovarian cancer.
Right. Yes.
And they can go on your website to find all of this, right?
They can go to our website, to our Facebook pages. We have uploaded a few of them on our YouTube channel as well. So, yes.
Runsi Sen, thank you so much for being with us and talking to us about Ovarcome and ovarian cancer.
Thank you, Mary. I appreciate it.